Hey, what's up guys? I'm Nico of CAMCRUNCH, and in this video I'm going to give you sort of a quick overview of the Fujifilm X-E1 body itself, the layout, the buttons, some of the menu and all that sort of stuff. But before I start, as you can see, I did tape up my Fuji X-E1. I did tape up the corners because it was getting banged up quite a bit. Now, although it's pretty rugged, the paint actually chips off, and that's sort of why I taped up the corners. I had this one taped up too, but that one eventually kept getting in the way of the battery film door, so I took that out. And this one just wouldn't stay on because, constantly changing the settings and all that stuff. So I ended up with just having the tape up here and the tape down here in the bottom. But I got that out of the way, so let's just get on with the tour now. The Fujifilm X-E1, as you can see, is very sleek and very small and compact body. Right now I have the 18mm on it, which is, I think it's my favorite lens more than the 35mm itself. But I don't know, they're both really good lenses, so I do recommend this lens for a smaller compact camera system. Let's start with the front. On the front we have, let me just change focus a little bit. You can change your setting, your autofocus setting. You have single, you have continuous, and you have manual. And something interesting about the continuous is it's not like your standard DSLR. When you have it on continuous, it continuously like changes focus. It's not like one of those tracking focusing things. It just keeps focusing even if you don't have your finger on the button. So that's something I found really interesting. Well, let's put that back to single. I'll turn that off. Here you have your switch to take off your lens, and hidden behind that is your beautiful APS-C size sensor. You have your focus assist button, which is really helpful, and it does help you focus in lower light situations. The focus assist is there to assist you, but in terms of this specific camera, at least, it doesn't focus as well as other cameras in lower light, and you really need to make sure you don't get your finger in the way of that when you're focusing. On here on the top, we have your hot shoe. We have your pop-up flash, which is not on the Fuji X-E1. On the X Pro one, you have your focus, your shutter speed dial. You have A, and it goes from 4,000 to all the way to bulb. And T is sort of like, to set your shutter speeds below 1/4 of a second. So that's very helpful. I usually keep mine at around 1/250th, 1/500th, or sometimes in auto, but that's just sometimes. So then you have your on and off switch. Very simple. On top you have your classic shutter release port available to you, so you can get one of those remotes. You have your function button, which you can program to a few things. I have it set right now to, what do I have it set to? I think it's depth of field preview, but I used to have it set to movie mode. I've had it set to a bunch of things, so I'm just playing around to see what I like it best at. You have your exposure compensation dial here, which is nice. You can hear those very solid yet smooth clicks, and it's very easy to move with just one finger, but not easy enough to like just knock it out of place accidentally, unless you're like putting a lot of force into it. So it's very good. I found that really nice. On the top here you have, let's focus in a little bit more. Just kidding. I can't focus in any closer. You have your view mode, and what the view mode is, it changes whether you use this LCD, whether you use the electronic viewfinder, or whether you switch between both with a sensor. So right now it's on the electronic viewfinder, as you can see, and then you have it just this, so it won't change, and then you have eye sensor, which is the eye sensor. So that's what that is. Let's turn it off. You have your pop-up flash again. You have your mode dial, your setting dial, which is what you use when you change things like your shutter speed, when you're on time exposure over there, and a bunch of other settings. You can also use it when you're on manual focus, so let's click to switch to manual focus. You can click it, you can actually click the dial, and it will zoom in to the your screen so that you can have more accurate focusing. You have your Q button, which is, as you guys might have heard, is the most awesome button in the world. It has all of your settings, so you have your custom functions or basic, ISO, dynamic range, white balance, all this cool stuff, your image size. So it's all in the click of this one button. You have your AE lock, AF lock right here, which you can also use to focus when you're in. So right now I put it on manual focus. You can click this and it will actually focus, which is cool. Sometimes it's actually faster than your regular focus, so that's pretty cool. Let's put it back to single. Back display, you have the option between info display, which is this, your standard, and you have your custom, where you can add and subtract things like the histogram, stuff like that, which is cool. I usually keep in the custom. That's where I like it. Then you have your your playback. You have drive. On your playback, this is zoom in and zoom out. So let's click out of that. You have your drive. So you have your still, your continuous, AE bracket. You have ISO bracket, which is cool. Which makes sure you have the same aperture and shutter speed when you're bracketing. You have your film simulation bracket, dynamic range bracket, motion panorama, and movie mode. So that's really nice. You have AE. So wait, right now I think I put it on movie. Still image. Then you have your AE, which you have spot, average, and multi-zone metering, which is pretty cool. And then you have your AF. I don't know if you can see that, but you can change. Wait, let me change the exposure so you can see that. You can change where your AF point is, and you can change the size, bigger or smaller. So that's pretty nice. Now let's click out of there. Let's increase the exposure a bit. And that's basically it. On the bottom, let's turn the camera off. You have your film battery door. Not film battery door, your battery door with your SD card slot. Very easy to put in. And on this side, you have a little door where you have a few basic inputs. You have your remote or mic input, you have your HDMI, and you have your micro USB. On the side here, you have your lugs, standard lugs. I use the Black Rapid Metro, so I don't use those lugs. But that's basically it. You have your tripod mount on the bottom, and there, that's your Fuji X-E1. Really, really nice camera. I really recommend it to anyone who wants the, to buy into the Fuji X system. It's really a great camera. It does have its limitation and areas where it needs to improve, but overall it's a very solid camera, especially for Fuji's second camera in their mirrorless interchangeable lens lineup of cameras. And I do have a full review on CAMCRUNCH.com. I'll put a link down below with sample images and stuff like that, so you guys can check out. But this was just a quick overview body tour of the Fujifilm X-E1. Again, I'm Nico of CAMCRUNCH, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.